step away for a minute. All right, as often happens in the process of learning, I think I've had a discovery. I think I need, because this tape is based on the bust measurement, chest measurement of my dress form, I also need a tape that corresponds to my height so that we get the lengthwise dimensions correct. So I need to make one more tape, and then I may need to redraw this because obviously I've undoubtedly made some mistakes. So there we are, and I will come back once I have started the tape, and maybe I'll show you part of that process. It's really pretty easy. For example, with this existing tape, what I have here is you start with 0, which is your very beginning. Start at the very beginning, you know, as the song goes. So you start at the 0, and then you measure all the way down to the end and mark and B. And then B, this represents the dimension around your bust at the widest point, or your chest. And then these others are subdivisions of this. So you would take the middle and divide it down, and then you get the media, or the M, or the middle part of the tape, and so forth, and lay them out, which gives you these dimensions, which are, pardon me. I want to get this right. I don't want to misstate it. So these are calculating, the black dimensions are for divisions of halves, quarters, and eighths. And the other color, the red, is for the divisions of thirds, sixths, twelfths, and dedos. So those are the two dimensions that you need. And now this, as I said, is a bust measurement tape. So I'm going to have to do one for my height, and I am presently 8.5 inches tall. So I'm going to use Matthew's little grid right here, and using his 5.9, better to have things too long than too short. That tape needs to be 36 inches long or 89 centimeters. So I'm going to make another tape, and I'll measure that out here on my board. I have a mark on my cutting table that's 36 inches. I can just see it through the paper here, so I'm going to mark it here. And I can see the starting mark down here, and there's a line, horizontal line this way. So for 36 inches, I've got to get my box of tapes. And these are just some bias tapes. I think for the height one, to distinguish, I'm going to make this one, instead of out of this polyester twill, I'm going to make this out of this linen twill. That way they'll look different. So this will be width, and this will be height. And these are about 3/4 of an inch. So let's mark a piece of that. And I'll just run this over. I have these yardsticks holding down the pattern fabric so it doesn't curl. Oh, I want to make a mark at the end. So we're going to start at the end, and because I want my marks to be perpendicular to the tape, I don't want it, you know, for accuracy's sake, I'm going to make a mark this way across at the beginning. And where are my markers? I have, oh, there they are. Right. All right, I have my permanent marker, and I'm going to mark this at this end. And this is just the beginning part of the tape. All right, so, and we're going to mark this as 0. Put a line through it. All right. So that's our 0, and we can put that under the yardsticks. Push that over here. Now this Bara measure system is what was used currently in the 1580s and 90s in Spain, probably long before. It's rather an elegant system, I think. So we measure this way all the way down to 36 inches. All right, that's the tape for height-wise. We'll take a mark, make just a little mark. And I want to use my ruler, and I want to go with the markings so that we get the line perpendicular across the width of the tape. Otherwise it'll be slanted and inaccurate. All right, so that's our width, and that's our end, and we're going to call that B. Right? B. Yes, B. Or base, or bottom, or basso. And you can snip that off, and this is our little working end like we have up at the other end. And I'm going to put a mark on here indicating that this is height. Start at this end so that I don't get mixed up. Height. And then this one will be from the O end. And then this one will be, I'm going to say width. All right, that's enough to indicate so that I know. All right, then we'll go back to how to make our tape. All right. Welcome back. Okay, now we're going to start drafting the doublet back. You see over here the doublet front, and I'm just going to follow Mathew's instructions and we'll see what happens. All right, so beginning at A, which is our measurement on this side. Where's my, I think I'll mark it with black. All right, so A. Put A over about here. There's A. We'll call this A right here. A. All right. Beginning at A, draw a straight line to the right. Wait a minute. Oh. Oh, good heavens. All right. This is really weird. Okay. This is like backwards going the other direction. All right, so we have to start at this end down here. What? What? All right, I'll turn it off. All right, thank you. I'm glad you got your walk. That's good. Place the O on the chest tape at the K. That's the O on the K. It gets a little complicated, but I keep going back and reading the instructions, and I'm trying to do just exactly what the instructions say. So, alright, so we place the O on the chest tape at the A and measure to the right QI. Alright, so this is Q, and then plus I is right there. For point K. The chest tape only mark the vertical measurements as follows. G2H is DI. Okay, so I will tell you that it is a tremendous advantage to a tallish person like myself to have a cutting table like this that's at least 39 inches high. This sits right at my waist, so it's very comfortable for me to reach across the table. 6 feet long, and I think that's 5 feet wide. But the height of the table is the most important thing. So I just thought I'd mention that because I have worked a lot of back-breaking tables where you're built practically double over. And so when I built my cutting table, after watching all the available videos, I determined that I was not going to have a table that was going to break my back. So I made it high because of my height. And that turned out to be a brilliant thing to do. Okay, one more line at the waistline. Put this in. It's not 100% perfect. I wish I could make all my little dashes perfectly perfect, but nothing in life is perfectly perfect except perfection, and that don't live here, you know. That and all right, there's that. Now this this side back seam is not period side seam. In period, it would be up about here and then come in a straight line toward this is the center back right here, the center back of the bodice. So it would come basically about 2 inches on either side of the center back and angle down from about here, so from about here to here. So this part of the pattern is going to be added to the front portion, and that makes the back piece a little sort of triangle piece, but it gives you the flexibility of having this cut very sharply on the diagonal, which gives you a bit of stretch. So there's that. And I think this looks pretty good. I want to mark the other side. So perhaps turn this around. And all right. Thank you very much for watching. I think that's going to be all for today. I'm just going to add the seam allowances on that pattern piece. I may add one brief little extra at the end, but otherwise that's all for today, and I hope this was entertaining for you. If you want to get this book, I recommend it highly, highly. This is Mathew Gnagy's The Modern Maker, Volume 1, Men's Doublets. And there was very little difference between men and women's doublets in period. So you can use these to model doublets for your female figure just as well as you could for a man. So there you are. And that's it for today. Thanks for watching. This is Dame Eleanor, and that's all from Dame Eleanor's studio. Thank you. I'll be back with more.